Circus Vargas, the big one is back.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. What's happening? It is Wednesday. This is March 2nd. This is Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios with Grande and the Brown Man. And we're just getting rolling. We're getting onto the airwaves of the mightier 1090, ESPN 1090 radio. We are getting onto the stream of YouTube. We're going to be on television tonight, Channel 4 San Diego, which is our home base, and on all the different audio podcast platforms from Apple all the way to iHeart. Even though we have nothing to do with iHeart, somehow we're on their app and our podcast is there. Hey, yesterday, guys, we had a conversation after John Clayton came on the air about whether or not John Clayton knows that he's on video or if he just thinks that we're recording the audio. I cannot tell you, fellas, how many people hit me up during the show yesterday, not on the YouTube chat, but on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram's DM, on Twitter's DM. Anybody who's got my email or my phone number, hit me up. I mean, I got a lot of reaction from people yesterday saying, I don't think John knows that he's on video. So I sent John a text last evening and I said, hey, man, how are you? I'm just checking on you because I know you said you had to take your wife to the doctor. Is everything okay? And he said, yes, everything's good. Thanks for checking in. Appreciate that, etc. I wrote back something like, hey, I just want you to know how much we love having you, how much the great friends love you. Just really, really appreciate you being on the show all the time. And he write back something like, thank you. I love doing it, et cetera, et cetera. And I said this, I was like, now that we're on TV, radio, YouTube videos, audio podcasts, I'm like, we're really a full service, broadcast crew now. And at no point does John come back to me and say something like, wait, what? You guys are using video? Because, dude, I'm like laying down on my couch and my eyes are closed and I'm not shaved. And, I clearly don't look like somebody who realizes he's on video. So I sent him this message like, yeah, dude, we're on video. We're on this. He never replied anything like, wait, I didn't know that. How you can't air that? Look at me. So I'm going to just keep rolling with he knows, but it's not like he's doing ESPN network television. So he feels like as a podcast, I can just be here chilling. That's what I think.
Be myself.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know, man, for sure, but that's what I think. Because
so you didn't have the cojones to straight up ask him like,
you're on camera.
We're on video, right?
Let me see my text.
Because it sounds like you didn't. That was a lengthy, well-spoken explanation of your conversation with John. You didn't ask him, hey, we're recording that, right?
Here's what I said. I said, on a side note, thank you for coming on weekly. We love you and our audience does too. Generally, we like to record on audio and video because we use it for radio, YouTube, and certain segments for television. So we are truly now an audio and video show. How are things going for you is how I phrased it. And he said, things are going okay. And I said, I think things are going better than okay for you, John. You're doing great, So, I spelled it out for him that
not really, though.
Yeah, that was very vague, my friend.
By saying audio and video.
But that's saying he's reading these messages with pure intent and every word. If I get a text message from somebody, unless I know it's important, I'm not really reading it that deep. That's how the guy who you got the tickets for the Aztecs game was like, how come you didn't tell me that you weren't going to be in the seats? Because he didn't really read the text.
Yeah,
he just
true.
knew you needed to.
Okay, here's what we do.
All right.
This is the only thing we can do.
Okay.
On Tuesday of next week, before we hit record, John, this is for video. Are you cool with your setup?
Okay.
That's all we got to do.
Okay.
If he says, yeah, then we knew the whole time this is what he does. If he's like, if he gives us, obviously if he pushes any sort of pushback, we now know that he had no idea.
We also have to be prepared for him to say to us, I had no idea. That pisses me off like a mofo. And you know what? Don't ever ask me to come back on the show again. That we have to be prepared for that potential possibility.
Here's what we do.
Okay. Let's think this through. Let's play chess here.
This is super simple.
Okay.
John, just let you know, this is for video as well. This one is for video as well. and he'll be like, "Oh, okay." And if he's like, "Wait, have they all been for video?"
Mm-hmm.
You just be like, no, this is our first one."
Yeah, we lie.
Of course.
Yeah, we lie.
He's not gonna go back
Mm-hmm.
and watch any of our he's never he has so many followers on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like who knows how often he gets tagged in things. He's never gonna go back and look at his mentions from a few weeks ago. There's no way of him finding it unless he purposely goes on ours, which I didn't even cut a clip this week. So it would be like 2 weeks. He's not gonna put the effort in. He's just not.
Okay. All right. Well,
but now then we would know.
Right.
Yo, dog, we messed with that man.
Well, we don't mean to, and we love him.
Did not mean to.
We love that man. It's just that, lately, there's been question marks. So I got a lot of reaction from that yesterday. By the way, Browner, I'm glad you just mentioned my friend who didn't read my texts, who, when he gave me his front row seats for the San Diego State basketball game last Friday night, and then I gave those seats to Alex. And then my friend sent me a text saying, "Don't give my seats to somebody without talking to me about it first." And I was like, "No, but I specifically asked you." And he was like, "Oh, okay, I missed that text. You're exactly right." Let me send a shout out to that person. I'm going to say his name on air because today is his birthday. And this gentleman, his name is Jeff Jacobs, has been one of the most important and influential people in my life. I'm not exaggerating. For the last probably, I'm going to say 15 to 20 years, without exaggeration. Our kids were in preschool together way back in the day. And we met at like some little kid's birthday party. He was a huge sports fan. I was pretty new to San Diego at the time. I didn't know who he was or who his family was at the time. I just knew him as Jeff, the guy whose son goes to preschool with my son. In 2007, let me rephrase that. In 2006, he rode the first ever Qualcomm $1 Million Challenge bike ride, which was from San Francisco to San Diego. I had him on the radio each day while they were traveling south. And I was like, next year, I have to do this. I absolutely must do this. And in 2007, when I did that first bike ride from San Francisco to San Diego for the Challenge Athletes Foundation, I'll never forget Jeff saying to me, "You will make relationships for your entire life through this bike ride." And of course, I just thought that was like some PR thing to say. Let me tell you something right now, guys. If it wasn't for this person, Jeff Jacobs, who I hope is listening right now because I want him to hear this shout out, we would not be here today. Like the show would not have gone from radio to podcast and then back onto radio. It wouldn't have added TV. It wouldn't have had the entrepreneurial spirit that it has because this person, Jeff Jacobs, has been one of the most important people in my life. And I just want to send a shout out and send him love and tell him thank you for everything that he's done. So Browner, you brought it up. And there's the shout out to my man, Jeff Jacobs. How about that?
Hey-o, nothing wrong with giving a shout out.
Yeah. Jeff's the guy who in 2016 for his 50th birthday, we celebrated by doing the race across America, the bike race all the way across the country. That was his birthday.
Still don't understand why anyone would do that. Still
it was a team thing, man. It was camaraderie. It was team. It was accomplishing a goal together because he's the guy that got me. Well, but he's the guy that got me to do the Ironman in Hawaii in 2010. And
this guy trying to kill you?
Well, maybe that's what he's trying to do here.
Maybe. Like he's like, how can I get rid of this guy?
Right. Let me get this guy off my friends list. Let's go on the bike ride across America. He finished that? Okay. Yeah. You want to do an Ironman? Yeah. In Hawaii? Yeah. Oh, he survived that too. Damn.
Yeah. Can't kill this guy. He's like a freaking cockroach.
It's like a friend roach.
Yeah. Speaking of cockroach, cucaracha. Yesterday, I got a lot of reaction from listeners who were talking about chocolito.
Chocolatote.
How did it start, though? It started with chocolate.
Chocolatito's
Little
fighting
chocolate.
at the arena, at the Pechanga Arena on Saturday night.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
No way. The fight is this Saturday?
Isn't it?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
Hold on.
Chocolatito. Chocolatito, and then it turned into chocolatate, chocolatutu.
Chocolatote.
The super flyweight saga continues on March 5th for Chocolatito Martinez. It's fight week in San Diego.
Oh.
You just don't know what day it is. We've known this for about a week now.
The problem is
confused.
February killed you.
Right. The problem is that I got to go to New Orleans this weekend. And I just found out yesterday, I didn't know this, that yesterday was Fat Tuesday, making today Ash Wednesday. I always felt like such an idiot. When I was in college.
Friday, no meat Friday.
Oh, is that the deal? When I was in
For
college,
Catholics, yeah.
I didn't know about Ash Wednesday. Like I had I mean, I didn't know the date back then either. And I would see kids walking in with like the ashes on their forehead. And like a typical Jewish grandmother, I'd be like, come here, Bubba. Come here. I lick my thumb.
Mm.
Come here, Bubba. Come here, darling. Come here. Let me get this schmutz off your forehead. Come here. Come here. Like a total dumbass, like completely underexposed to the fact that it was Ash Wednesday. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, come here, Tati. Come here. Let me get the schmutz right here. You got something right here on your forehead. Lick my thumb. Like licking my thumb to get something off somebody else's body is a good idea, and somebody's gonna like that. Needed a little liquid to get the ash off my forehead. So he licked his
Yeah.
thumb and then rubbed my forehead.
Things we did before COVID
Right.
that we would never do now.
And do you one worse?
Yeah.
I was in college. I went to university older. So I wasn't like 19, 20, I was like 22, 23. I had never seen that before either. And at the time, I was a more, let's say, vile language user. And someone came into the cafeteria with and I said, look at this bleepity bleep MFer. Wash that bleep off your face, man. What's you? And somebody turned to me and was like, yo, dog, that's like a religious thing. It's like Ash Wednesday or something. I was like, what? And then I turned around and saw everybody looking at me like, what a loser. I was like,
what a dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you're stupid. And I was like, no, I'm a bully. And I'm also stupid. So, sorry,
yeah,
bro.
where I grew up, it was, I mean, I think the entire
I'd
city
never
of
seen it
Oxnard
before.
in the 90s was Catholic and Mexican. So I think, like, I mean, it was like one of the busiest days at church. Everybody walked around with ash on their head. It was no big deal whatsoever. Like none.
I grew up around Muslims. I don't know nothing about that.
And I grew up around, I mean, mostly Jews, frankly, So when I saw the ashes on the forehead, my intentions were to be a sweetheart. That's exactly what my grandmother would have said to me. She was like, "Come here, Bubba. You got schmutz right over here. I'll fix it. Come here."
I don't think I ever had to. I genuinely don't remember an example of me having to explain why there's ash on my forehead. Like it just because everybody did it, or everybody knew about it in Oxford at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. And I see people like that are tweeting about like, oh, here it is that day I have to explain why there's ash on my head. It's like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had no idea what that was. I didn't know any Jewish people. Here's what's wild. I didn't know any Jewish people when I was growing up. I mean, obviously there were Jewish people in Chicago, but I just thought they were white folks. Like I didn't know any I didn't know any Catholics. Like I barely knew any Christians. Like I literally, the Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan's house was like a mile from where I lived. And most of the South Side population is populated by Muslims because Farrakhan is so close. They basically put their people out around in the neighborhood. And so that was the first real introduction into religion I had was the Nation of Islam. My father was a Muslim, but I didn't know him. I didn't really see him. But I didn't know what any of it was until I moved here.
Yeah.
Like none of it.
Yeah. And when I grew up, where I grew up in upstate New York, this is before we moved down to Florida. And before I went off to college. But where I grew up, it was a mostly Jewish town. And so on Saturdays, everything in town was closed. Like the gas station was closed, the restaurants were closed, the grocery store was closed, literally. And even if these businesses were owned by people that were not Jewish, the businesses were closed because on Saturdays, Shabbat, the Jews didn't work. They didn't drive. We walked. We didn't, I wasn't like overly crazy religious, but the whole town was Jewish. And they were, this is old school stuff here. So I'm telling you, the gas station, which was owned by Gentiles, was closed on Saturdays, but open on Sundays. So yeah, Ash Wednesday, I'm telling you right now, when I saw somebody in college with the ashes and the cross on their forehead, I'm like I became like my grandmother. I totally became my grandma. Come here, darling. Come here. Come here. You got schmutz right here. I'll take it. Let me lick my thumb and touch your face with my saliva and my thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a weird time. I think now we're in Lent. So like people give something up from now until Easter. On Fridays, we don't eat chicken.
What'd you give up? What'd you give up?
Well, I don't really practice Catholicism, so nothing. Everybody, you give up red meat or chicken on Fridays. So that's why growing up, at least in the Oxnard McDonald's, they did specials on fish fillets on Fridays because they knew that a majority of their population in the city, I don't know if this was all McDonald's, but definitely in Oxnard, nobody would go buy cheeseburgers and chicken sandwiches. So they did specials on fish fillets. So people would go get fish fillets on Fridays.
Right.
I remember eating like fish sticks and like boxed fish all the time on Fridays because we couldn't eat red meat or chicken on Fridays. And then
keep going.
Yeah.
Are you going to give anything up for Lent though?
No, I just told Browner I haven't done that in a long time.
Oh,
You're
did
not
you
a
say that
practicing.
while I was not listening? Because Kenny Mayne is
Yes.
texting me. Because
Yeah.
Kenny Mayne, the former ESPN personality, is going to join us in just a little while today. We
5
haven't had Kenny on in a long time.
Since the track in person.
Right, and we also haven't had Kenny on since he left ESPN. And so Kenny was Kenny's jumping in. So there he is.
Oh,
Kenny's-
this is real.
Yeah. Oh no, it's totally real. It's
How's
totally
the-
real.
Let's do it.
How's the sun behind me? How's that working out for you?
No, it's fine. It's so funny. I was just telling the guys, Kenny, that you were texting me and I was telling you, hey, we're in the middle of this. We're late. We'll call you right back. But here you are. So it's great to have you here. How's
I
it going?
figured it out. What if I told you I haven't looked at one race and we just don't really get there? We just tell you that I'm excited and I'll be studied up by the weekend.
I think
How's
that's
that?
great. I haven't looked at one race either. And I'll tell everybody what we're talking about. But before we do, Kenny, where are you right now?
I'm trying to get the sun. Well, I appreciate the sun in general. It doesn't help as your backlight.
No, it's fine.
I'm in my backyard. I'm in Connecticut. I just like this place better than indoors. We got dogs barking, and it's warm enough to be outside. It's so warm, in fact, I might go hit golf balls at this place. Sort of like Top Golf, but not. It's something else. And then you can set it up so you're playing courses from around the world, and you pretend that you're in Sweden or wherever you want to pretend to be that day.
No way. You say it's an indoor place?
No, it's outdoors, but it's some borderline heated.
Oh,
I can handle 40-degree golf.
yeah.
That's our
I was gonna say, what is warm enough for you?
40.
When you say warm enough,
40s, it's got to be 40. Otherwise, your hands are cold, and we got snow. You can see behind me. Can you not? There's
Yeah,
snow
we
still
can.
on the
Totally.
yes.
Yeah. I actually thought you would be in Seattle. I didn't realize you were still in Connecticut.
I got remarried, and together we have 4 girls, and the 4th one is still in high school back here. So I'm here mostly. I'm in Seattle sometimes. I was going back and forth when my daughters were younger, but now everybody's old. One of them's college graduate.
Wow.
I think you've met them through the years at Del Mar.
Yeah.
Like they've been around there.
Yeah.
And then Annie is in London. She's doing a semester abroad. And so and we got one at USC. We got them all over the place.
Wow.
And-
Kenny Mayne is here. I got to say, this is so great that you're already here because I have a lot I really want to talk to you about. And I love the fact that you jumped in a little bit. Well, you were on time. We were late. That's exactly what happened. So I'm glad that you're here. I have so much I want to talk to you about. And you mentioned you haven't watched any of the races yet. Let's jump into that real quick, and then we'll get into the other stuff. I got a call from a longtime friend of ours, Aaron Greider, who I thought was a great jockey. In fact, Kenny, don't you remember when Aaron went over to Dubai? And
He won the World Cup.
Right.
I'm forgetting. Don't tell me. Give me the initials of his winning horse.
IDK.
3 words?
No, it's just I don't know is really my answer.
Oh, you lost me there.
I don't know.
Good. I should know because Aaron and I have known each other. Oh gosh, since 2002, as long as I've known him. He rode Song and a Prayer in the 2001 Kentucky Derby. If you recall, Song and a Prayer ran the 6 furlongs in like 108 or something. He set a record for the fastest 6 furlongs in Derby history. And we shot a commercial together. It was like the inception of the NTRA, the Thoroughbred Racing Association, right? And I think Jorge Chavez was there. It was the year Monarcos won the Kentucky Derby, right?
That sounds about right.
So we shot this silly little commercial, like we were on these pretend horses, and I was fascinated. He had a real whip with him. Turned out it was the whip that he used on Song and a Prayer, although he didn't need to use it because the horse was running fast enough without him until it wasn't. And no, we just, that's 20 years. We kind of stayed in contact. I'd see him at the track. We'd text each other, got to know each other's families a little bit. Like, just a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was He was definitely a solid jockey for sure.
Hey, listen to this. Kenny Mayne is with us. Kenny, one year, I'm trying to remember what year it was, probably 2004, 5, 6 in that neighborhood, when Mind That Bird won the Kentucky Derby. Aaron Greider was on the radio with me and Billy Ray, and he said, I'll take the bet because that horse has no chance to win. The horse was 50-1. Billy Ray gave me, I think it was $100 to bet, or maybe it was $20. And Aaron said, I'll take the bet because there's no chance it wins. I go to Vegas. I placed the bet for Billy Ray, 50-1. I'm almost sure it was a $20 bet, and it paid like $1,200 or $1,400, something out of control. And I said to Aaron, I go, good thing I didn't give it to you. Good thing I didn't place the bet through you, pal, because he wound up hitting this 50-1. Remember when Mind That Bird came up the rail? So
it was Calvin Burrell.
Yes.
And the trainer, Chip Woolley, drove it across America.
Right,
in the back of his U-Haul or whatever.
Right. Wait, hold on one second. Kenny Mayne is here. Kenny, we were late. You were on time. Let me just say to everybody, more with Kenny Mayne coming right back. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. More with Kenny Mayne next.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Dominating the SoCal radio airwaves for over 20 years. Join Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner for Kaplan and Crew every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the mightier1090.com.
It doesn't matter what your background is and where you come from. If you have dreams and you have goals, and that's all that really matters.
I owe a lot to Charlie.
When you black, it's not a movement, it's a lifestyle. This is who we are.
The Rising, proudly brought to you by Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone. We were the first. We carry the fire that began civilizations, and then we built them. We strengthened a nation, and then we fought for it. We are scientists, poets, and lawmakers. We are artists, leaders, and warriors. And as we gaze toward tomorrow, we leave an indelible mark on the past. Black History Month on Your View is proudly brought to you by Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone.
Main streets are the heart of our communities, where we connect with our neighbors, support local businesses, and share new adventures. Main Street Living celebrates all of this, bringing you uplifting stories with guests from across the country and your community. Main Street Living covers what's important to you today, from our street to your street. Join Cheryl, Danielle, and Quincy for Main Street Living. Mondays at 9 on Your View.
I'm Lex Gillette, 5-time Paralympic medalist, 4-time world champion, and world record holder in the long jump for totally blind athletes. Running and jumping without your eyesight is one of the most incredible feelings out there. When I leave the ground though, to jump and soar through the air and eventually land in the sand, that is my way of defying gravity.
Big breath, get tight.
Celebrating Black history is very important, but I think that it certainly extends beyond just these 28 days. We need to get to a space where we are making this country a better space to live in. At the end of the day, it's not our eyes that ultimately determine success. It's our ability to see that vision, to develop that plan, connect with the right people, and do everything in your power to bring that vision into fruition.
Prospect Home Finance is a mortgage company. We specialize in residential refinances and home purchases. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, if you're going out looking for a pre-approval to buy a new home, meet with the realtor, we would help you facilitate that and walk you through the process from A to Z. We specialize in getting homeowners loans for their dream home, but we also do more than that. So today we came down to Ocean Beach, partnered up with Surfrider, and I had some team members come down here from Prospect, all pitched together, and I had quite a bit of trash to clean up.
It's really heartening to see people come out and really care for the waterways.
It was great getting out here, and we're going to do it again soon. We're always looking for ways to give back to the community of San Diego. So if you have any ideas or need any help or support in any way, visit us at homefinance.com.
Listen to The Mike Greenberg Show, 7 to 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Greeny brings his unmatched depth of sports knowledge, fun, and entertainment back to ESPN on a daily basis. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk, and the Mightier1090.com.
Explore the Southwest lifestyle, the culture, the music, the food, y más. Join hosts J.R. Cardenas and Vanessa Ramirez on Su Vida.
Welcome to 2022. Did you make a New Year's resolution?
We have the top 10 most popular and our advice on the next Su Vida.
Watch Su Vida, Sunday night at 7 on YourView and YourView.com.
When doors open for kids, they change lives. For over 75 years, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater San Diego has been opening its doors to provide a safe place for kids whenever they are out of school. A place with caring mentors and opportunities to focus on academic success, healthy lifestyles, and character building. At the club, we do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid that walks through our doors by inspiring, empowering, and changing lives.
We were the first. We carry the fire that began civilizations, and then we built them. We strengthened a nation, and then we fought for it. We are scientists, poets, and lawmakers. We are artists, leaders, and warriors. And as we gaze toward tomorrow, we leave an indelible mark on the past. Black History Month on Your View is proudly brought to you by Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
University of San Diego men's basketball takes on Pepperdine on Thursday night in the first round of the West Coast Conference Tournament. Saturday, in the final game of the regular season, the Toreros fell to San Francisco 78-62. Marcellus Erlington had 15 points and 5 rebounds. Jace Townsend also had 15 points on 7 of 15 attempts. Yavuz Gultekin had double figures for the 8th time this year, scoring 13 points, while Vladimir Pinchuk led the team with 10 rebounds. USD finished the year 14-15 overall, 7-9 in the conference. USD is ranked at number 7 in the tourney, with Pepperdine ranked at number 10. USD got the win in both of their matchups with Pepperdine in the regular season this year. The WCC tournament begins Thursday in Las Vegas. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView.
Prospect Home Finance, San Diego's mortgage leader, is celebrating 15 years of happy clients. HomeFinance.com is the go-to resource online or on your mobile device to discover your best home loan options.
Hi, I'm Jason Bondrak, CEO at Prospect Home Finance. I want to say thank you to all of our clients, both past and future. As part of our 15-year anniversary, we'll close your home loan in 15 business days.
Start your easy home finance process today at HomeFinance.com.
My intention is to win a clean fight.
Convicted for draft evasion, threatened with imprisonment, Muhammad Ali is banned from fighting in all 50 states. But in Atlanta, Georgia, in October of 1970, that all changed. Matched against the top contender for the boxing crown, the greatest is back.
Ali's comeback, proudly brought to you by Subaru of El Cajon.
Welcome back. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
Hey, great friends. This is Kaplan and Crew along with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. You love blackjack, poker, you love Sammy's Restaurant and Bar, you like a smoke-free environment, come on down. Just 7 minutes south of downtown San Diego at 7 Mile Casino and 7milecasino.com. For those of you that are just getting here, we said we were going to have Kenny Mayne on the show. Kenny came on time. We were running late. Kenny jumped into the opening segment, but now Kenny Mayne is back here on Kaplan and Crew. Kenny, let's just reset for everybody. You are at your home in Connecticut. It's warm enough for you to be out back. There's snow on the ground. Looks beautiful there today.
All those things are true. And if you're going to mention 7 Mile Casino, I need to mention Caesars because that's who I'm with, just so we equal things off. And
Yeah.
Casino mentions.
Well, hey, you mentioned Caesars. I've seen you in the television commercials with, check me on this, but like JB Smoove, the comedian who I love, is that you're on those commercials, right?
Yeah, I was shot into a couple of them. I'm hardly the most prominent person there, although I can forever say that I got to work with Halle Berry, so that ain't bad. She's the Oscar winner. She was great to work with. She was nice. And all the Mannings were there. Trey Wingo was there. JB Smoove, you mentioned, was there. He plays Caesar. Halle's playing Cleopatra. And yeah, they've thrown the kitchen sink at that whole enterprise. We also have Muggsy Bogues, Calvin Johnson, Clyde Drexler. A whole bunch of folks have joined the parade.
I was wondering about that because I was thinking to myself, did you guys all work together and shoot the commercial, or did they do it like individually and then splice it all together? You're saying you were there and you worked with all these people directly.
No, that was real. We were. This was late October when that was shot, and we had all the Mannings. Archie, Eli, Peyton, Cooper, and JB and Halle and Trey and I. And I think Trey and I each get in for like 2.1 seconds in those two spots, but better than zero.
Yeah.
And then while we were shooting the commercials, like we were only in a couple, the Mannings and Halle and JB were in a bunch more. There'd be like a 10-minute, 20-minute break when they were turning cameras around, and the Mannings would come down the hall, and we'd quickly shoot like a little bit with them. And so some of those have come out on the internet. Just, what do you call that? Sponsored content, I think is the name for that.
Yeah, nice.
So we shot one with Eli and Peyton titled Elite Quarterbacks and just kind of made a mockery of that whole notion. Did another one with Peyton just about his Omaha. Remember when he used to yell Omaha for his, signals at the line of scrimmage?
Right.
What else did we do? Shot one that got killed. Shot another one with Peyton about his famous, allegedly, he walked through a casino one day and just walked up and bet red 18, for his number.
Yeah.
And won a whole bunch of money. And we had kind of a silly little take on that. So it's been fun doing those. For the Super Bowl, I shot with Allison Becker, my friend, the actor who was also in JB's show with Larry David.
Uh-huh.
And she was in Parks and Recreation, good old friend. And so we did kind of a fake Super Bowl preview show. So it's basically similar to stuff I was doing, but shorter and not on TV, but all over the internet. And hopefully, something that makes people think well of me and or Caesars.
All right, we're talking to Kenny Mayne this afternoon. He's at his home in Connecticut. He's sitting out back. It's a beautiful, sunshiny day. There's snow on the ground. Kenny, I'm curious. This is where I wanted to go. And we can get back to what's going on this weekend in horse racing, where there's 15 stakes races between Santa Anita here in Southern California and Gulfstream down in South Florida. And anybody who can get the winner in all 15 races can win a bonus of like $5 million. We'll talk more about that in a second. But Kenny, I'm so curious because we haven't spoken to you or seen you since Del Mar, which is probably 2 summers ago, pre-pandemic. How is life after ESPN for you?
There's less to do, but what I do has been really fun. Like we just described it, right? Doing the Caesars commercials and the videos. I think I'm doing something for NCAA's coming up soon. Did something in New York. I was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl itself for a big event. So yeah, I don't have the same pace, like the last few years. My contract had me doing a bunch of sports centers. So 3, 4, 5 days a week, I was going in at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever time, and working until midnight or 1. And, you kind of knew that rhythm. So this is an unusual rhythm because there's no show. There's no show tonight. There's no story this week like I had done for 20 odd years. But there's these kind of like one-off assignments. Like, hey, I'm going to Vegas for 4 days and shooting a bunch of stuff. Then I sit back and don't do anything for a couple weeks. Then we plan the next one. And It's fun. Like certainly more time to do other things. I started to mention in the first segment about I'm headed to the pretend golf place today. Why not? Why wouldn't I do that? It's sunny
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you do videos. Excuse me, real quick, Brown. I've seen you do videos where I believe you took your young daughter into like a mini golf place, and you were like announcing mini golf, which I thought was kind of your like initial post ESPN kind of like, hey, this is what I'm doing now.
It wasn't my daughter though. My daughters are too old for that. But it was a good friend of mine, Jason Jobs. He's a camera guy, a good friend. He lives up across the water from Seattle. And he had told me once, hey, sometime if you think of something stupid, let's just go shoot it. Not worry about if we're getting paid, not worry about what happens to it. Let's do it for the doing it sake, right? And the first thing I thought up, it was literally my first trip to Seattle after leaving ESPN. So this was in June this past summer. And I said, what if we went to a miniature golf course and I comment on 4-year-olds as though it's real golf, and talk about where they lie and what shot they're on and so forth. And we got a bunch of people connected on it. One guy got the place, one guy got all the kids to show up. And we had like 10 or 12 kids. And one by one, I just did, kind of silly commentary as the kids came. As it turned out, we did do something with it because Olipop, free shout out, the low sugar soft drink, I'd already done a commercial with them, and I said, hey, I just put out this stupid video, got like 3 million impressions, like more than anything I've ever done. ESPN, nothing compared. For some reason, people were yearning for 1 minute of little kids playing miniature golf. And so they ended up sponsoring the next, I think we did 4 or 5 more. So yeah, for a minute I was like, what if I just go around the country and shoot miniature golf? That sounds like a fun job.
Yeah.
That was kind of a one-time deal. We did the same thing with tumbling. And I also did it for NBC because remember last summer I did the Olympics for Peacock with Kerry Champion. We did like 17 straight nights, 4 or 5 hour shows.
Yeah.
They asked me to do the winter again, but I just couldn't because of the Caesars obligation. I was already going to be out in LA for the Super Bowl week, and there was no way to do both.
I like Kerry Champion, by the way. Browner, you were jumping in. Go for it, Browner. You got Kenny Mayne here.
I'm sorry,
I was going to say, Kenny, you did 20 years at ESPN. So
27.
when you are 27, that's even better. So when you're done with that, you have like the athlete's life. Like you put 27 years in that. You're not an old man. You got so much more left to do. What were you most excited about when your time at ESPN ended?
Or can I just add, or most fearful of?
I think and ask what was the thing I most excited about while I was there. We'll start there. That was working with Stevie Wonder, by far number one. I got him to say I can't be at the baseball all-star game. I have a high ankle sprain. That was his line, and he crushed it in one take. And I had to work that. It was like 12 hours of trying to get close to him. He was at a concert in Philadelphia. I just kind of kept working my way, closer and closer, but it all worked out. I mean, the fear was, how do you replace, just financially, like anybody leaving a job, right? You're taking it from wherever it was down to zero on day one that you leave. I think I had one more check coming in. But I kind of lined up a couple things, like the Olipop commercial I told you about. I knew the day I announced, or the next day after I announced that I was leaving, I still had 8 shows to go, which was weird, right? It was May 10th. I always remember the dates. And I put it on Twitter that I was, not going to be staying around. But I still had shows left on the schedule, right? Like in the computer schedule, I'm Thursday and Saturday and whatever. So I didn't want to bail on that. And it was weird, though, knowing I was leaving in like 2 weeks, but still, I'm going to do the Cubs Marlins highlight for you right now, That part was kind of surreal. So yeah, just lining up something. I think I looked at it like month by month, like most people do, right? I said, all right, how do we get through June? All right, what's going to happen for July? So we had the Olipop for June. We had the NBC Olympics, which they called like the next day after I was announcing, and I agreed to it. What else? I've had an EA commercial, for the Madden game. So I had like a few. I kind of got lucky and had 2 or 3 things that, like, all right, we'll make it through the summer. Let's just take the summer off and figure out what we're doing next. And then at that point, I started talking to Caesars, and it all worked out.
All right.
Do you like that, like, for lack of a better word, like that freedom to do whatever you want, tweet whatever you want when you don't have like this massive corporate boss now?
Yeah, it's been liberating, also unusual because you're so patterned, into one thing. If you spend any great amount of time with one company, I still get caught up in saying we as opposed to they when I'm talking about, because I got a ton of friends there. I'll see something on TV, and you still have that association, right? Like I know those people, and I know what it's like to put on that show, and so, but no regrets. They made their decision, to offer what they offered, and I declined it. And it's sort of like I played the over on. They set an over underline, and I was like, what the hell? Let's go see what else is out there.
Kenny Mayne is here this afternoon on Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. You said something really interesting, though, because 27 years at ESPN.
And a month.
Right, and there becomes a lot of fame.
It keeps getting longer.
Right, right.
Yeah.
You gain a lot of national notoriety to the point where you're doing other things. You're getting onto TV commercials. But you just said it, and I think a lot of people listening would find that interesting, that your biggest fear, at least at the beginning, was I'm making X number of dollars, and once the checks run out, I'm making zero. So were you worried? Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? Do I have money? I mean, was there a lot of financial fear? Because, again, I think a lot of people will hear 27 years and go, gosh, Kenny Mayne's a multi-gazillionaire.
Well, doesn't everybody kind of spend up to whatever they're making to, right? Like, our overhead was high, too. We got daughters in college. Like, no, if nothing had, I don't know. I guess that was the fear. And also, would anybody even care? Like I said this, I wasn't really even joking. I wrote a story for the LA Times kind of about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I meant what I said, like, what if like 9 people retweet this? Or, like, what if nobody gives a damn? Or some other big news story happened 30 seconds after I put my tweet out, and, so-and-so's been traded for such and such, So I was, flattered that people did care, and also that so many calls came in, like wanting me to do this and do that. There were a whole bunch of projects that ended up, we just talked and nothing happened. There's a couple others that I'm still trying to make happen besides the Caesars thing. So, I guess we were a little bit lucky. All that time I'd put in paid off to some degree that I seemingly had some legitimacy elsewhere.
But the Caesars deal, to me, this is like one of the most exciting things that you could be doing right now, because if you were at an ESPN and you were a Sports Center anchor, you may not be able to do this. I don't know for sure if you could or you couldn't, but the point is you have your freedom now, therefore you have your flexibility. And when I see companies like, DraftKings we work with DraftKings. I see.
I work with Caesars.
I know you do.
Not DraftKings. Caesars.
I know you do. But I think that, like, Caesars in particular, you can see the amount of money they're putting into their television commercials. You can see the amount of money they're putting into promoting, legalized gaming. To me, I think you're going to where the money is.
Well, and the funny thing too, I played football at UNLV way back when, and the first place I went, like my recruiting trip, was Caesars Palace. I used to usher fights at Caesars Palace. Ollie Holmes, I think Leonard Hearns, Leonard Benitez, a whole bunch of cool fights back when I was in college. The football players got to be ushers, right? That was part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Not paid. There was no NCAA violation. It was just for the thrill. And it was thrilling, like, to be around that at 19 and 20 years old. You're at Caesars Palace, and it was pretty amazing. So there was something kind of cool about going back home to some degree, right? Another city that I spent more time besides Seattle and now Connecticut. But yeah, I mean, obviously everything changed in the last number of years, where in the old days, and it wasn't that long ago, you couldn't even mention that people bet on games, even though we had. I should say, the biggest gambling site in the world, right? The fantasy football site.
Yeah.
Everybody's using to do their pools. But there was a breakthrough at some point. I don't know when that was. I can't mark the day. I know Van Pelt's show certainly had a lot to do with it, right? They talked pretty openly about the bad beats and over-unders and this and that. And then it was just like, once it was monetized for everybody, right? The leagues are.
Of course.
The only thing that's not in are current players, right? You can't be featuring them in we don't want that to be a case where anybody's getting that involved. But everybody knows people like action on games.
Right. I mean, Peyton Manning now endorses Caesars. Kenny, let me ask you your opinion on this, though. Does it frustrate you or anger you in any way when you see that Troy Aikman is going to get paid $18 million a year by ESPN? I mean, here it was ESPN trying to lower your contract after 27 years of service, and Troy Aikman walks through the door making $18 million a year to call football games. I mean, does that anger you? Does it frustrate you? Do you care? Do you give a rat's ass?
I don't know. I mean, if he can get it, he can get it. Good for him. Like, I like Troy. He's good at what he does. They made a determination that he's worth a certain amount, and they made a different one that I'm worth a certain amount. And you know what I mean? Like, I really am not bitter about it. Like, it's just business. Like, I had a bunch of good years there. Being associated with them helped me get to a place where I am now. So life goes on. Like,
Yeah.
I got over that part pretty quick. So I haven't spent really any time, looking back and like, man, they screwed me over. Nothing like that. Like, all in all, they were good to me. They gave me a bunch of opportunity. I think I did okay for them, and it all ended the way it ended. And everybody moves on with what they're doing.
What a success story. Do you guys, Alex and Browner, do you guys know Kenny's original story about how he even got to ESPN?
No, I always find those stories to be interesting
Oh my
because
God.
ESPN is such a large place and it gets people from all over. How do you become one of those people?
Oh, Kenny, would you mind sharing the story?
It dates me to a great degree, but whatever. I'm not embarrassed to say how old I am. 1989, Joe Montana to John Taylor and the 49ers beat the Bengals. You guys remember that Super Bowl?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So that night at my little station, Seattle, Tacoma, it was called KSTW, an hour ahead of the rest because we came on at 10 o'clock. And the funny thing is, I didn't even want to do sports. Like in college, I played football, but I always wanted to be doing more serious things in broadcasting. I took broadcasting. I took a lot of political science and journalism, speech, English. I'll get some other words out here. I'm not doing very well at running through, the curriculum. I took things associated with communications, although right there I did not communicate very well. But I made a great comeback, I thought.
Nice.
So I wanted to be working for like Frontline by this point, PBS, like doing documentaries, doing serious stuff. I started with this little station as not even on the air. Like I was kind of like the PA or whatever, and moved up and eventually got on the air. And we didn't even have a weekend show. We always said if there's news on the weekends, it's news to us. But they added a weekend show. And Jack Eddy, news director, is like, seriously, he's like, you played football, you're doing sports. And I really didn't even want to at first. But, it's a great opportunity. I'd never done it. I'd never been an anchor, so to speak, right? I'd just been doing like field reports on news. And, a little rough out of the gate. But a couple years later, the Joe Montana play, I sent that tape to ESPN because I thought I had a pretty good show. Al Jaffe was their guy in charge of talent, and he said, send us another tape. We want to see if that was a fluke. So I sent him another tape and another and another. I'm now chasing them. Got interviewed, didn't get hired, quit that job I was just speaking of. Long story, we won't bore you with it. And for like 4 years, I was freelancing for ESPN while working other jobs to pay the Honda bill and the insurance, right? I sold prepaid legal insurance. I assembled garbage cans because I was a garbage man back in college. And then I got a job at MCI selling long distance to companies. All the while, I still think I'm trying to get to ESPN, which people thought I was crazy. And I just kept on doing little pieces for them. I do interviews or I do, some feature stories. I was kind of like their Seattle bureau, but I didn't have a deal, right? I was just getting paid per day if they hired me. Tanya Harding case. I went down to Portland for a couple weeks. So I did a whole bunch of different things. I sent a letter to John Walsh. He's the one who directed me to write that LA Times article, by the way. And I said, please check the appropriate box. I'm trying to sort out my future. The first one said, stand by the mailbox, contract's on the way. Second one said, keep up the freelance work. Third one said, we'll hire you about the time ESPN 5 hits the air. Because remember, at the time, they had ESPN 2 was kind of a new thing, right? So I still don't get hired. Went back for like my third interview, and I knew what they thought was the reason not to hire me. It was that I wasn't kind of a big enough sports nerd. And I remember telling Vince Doria, who was old Boston Globe guy, he was a great boss, good friend. I said, Vince, I still don't know who the fifth pitcher on the Cubs is, and I really don't care. But if you tell me to do a story on the son of a bitch, it'll be a good story. And that was enough, apparently. So what had happened was Keith Olbermann and Susie Kolber were like the lead anchors. This is back to 1993-ish, 94. And Keith went back to be with Dan on Channel 1 to be on the late Sports Center. And Stewart moved up to be the new anchor. And now they needed a guy to replace Stewart at kind of the lower level. They called it the smash. You come on for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes and do a little sports update at the top or bottom of the hour. And that's how I got hired. So
unbelievable.
Never left.
Nice.
Unbelievable story. Incredible story. Kenny Mayne is here. The reason
here to hype the Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita big stakes weekend.
Right. Yeah, you are. So hold that thought for just 1 second, because I definitely want to do that.
Does that work for Caesars?
Yeah, no, right. If there's a DraftKings sign in the background, just everybody
every time
understand.
I see it, I'm saying Caesars. So
right. You feel free. Go for it. Do your thing. 100%. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studios, which Kenny? Caesars, right. We are in the 7 Mile Casino Studio along with Grande and the Brown Man. You're listening on ESPN 1090 on radio. You're watching tonight on television on Channel 4 San Diego and all throughout Southern California on the Cox Yorview Network. We're on YouTube streaming. Make sure you get involved in our YouTube chat and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can get us anywhere you want on all the audio podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, etc. Don't go anywhere. Kenny's going to tell you how to win $5 million next. Stick around, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
You're listening to the 50,000-watt Powerhouse, bringing you the new generation of radio up and down all of California with a little bit of attitude. This is SoCal Sports Talk, the all-new and mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on Your View, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. And visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
We were the first. We carry the fire that began civilizations, and then we built them. We strengthened a nation, and then we fought for it. We are scientists, poets, and lawmakers. We are artists, leaders, and warriors. And as we gaze toward tomorrow, we leave an indelible mark on the past. Black History Month on Your View is proudly brought to you by Subaru of El Cajon, an extraordinary experience for everyone.
Prospect Home Finance, San Diego's mortgage leader, is celebrating 15 years of happy clients. HomeFinance.com is the go-to resource online or on your mobile device to discover your best home loan options.
Hi, I'm Jason Bondrak, CEO at Prospect Home Finance. I want to say thank you to all of our clients, both past and future. As part of our 15-year anniversary, we'll close your home loan in 15 business days.
Start your easy home finance process today at HomeFinance.com.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
University of San Diego men's basketball takes on Pepperdine on Thursday night in the first round of the West Coast Conference Tournament. Saturday, in the final game of the regular season, the Toreros fell to San Francisco 78-62. Marcellus Erlington had 15 points and 5 rebounds. Jace Townsend also had 15 points on 7 of 15 attempts. Yavuz Gultekin had double figures for the 8th time this year, scoring 13 points, while Vladimir Pinchuk led the team with 10 rebounds. USD finished the year 14-15 overall, 7-9 in the conference. USD is ranked at number 7 in the tourney, with Pepperdine ranked at number 10. USD got the win in both of their matchups with Pepperdine in the regular season this year. The WCC tournament begins Thursday in Las Vegas. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
We are very proud to announce that the Mightier 1090 is SoCal's newest ESPN affiliate. Introducing the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. One of the largest radio stations in North America just got bigger and better. Joining forces with the worldwide leader of sports, ESPN. The Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Today, we proudly held the ribbon cutting ceremony for our new office in La Jolla, California. Here we are in the Merrill Lynch building, right in the middle of the village, and really, really happy to be part of this neighborhood. This is really special to Prospect in that it almost signifies the fact that we've grown up officially. We have survived the past 15 years by being very agile. We come to this one amazing location from 3 separate offices. So it's fantastic having everyone under one roof. This is going to do wonders in terms of streamlining our operations, being able to communicate with someone down the hall as opposed to someone who's several blocks away is going to be terrific. Our CEO, Jason Vondrak, he's a very humble person, but I know this day really, really means a lot to him in that he has led this company for 15 years. And he started this business out of a studio apartment. And look where we are now. That's huge. I think this new space signifies just endless possibilities for prospects. I mean, we're headquartered in La Jolla, but we do business all around the country. So our goal is to be licensed to offer home financing in all 50 states, and we're well on our way.
Prospect Home Finance. Fast, friendly, affordable.
I founded Driveway Auction after working in the automotive industry. Becoming a dealer and questioning the process that puts consumers at a huge disadvantage when selling their cars.
The big difference between Driveway and the other services is that Driveway works for you. If you've ever tried to sell a car, you know that it's an awful process that makes you either go and meet strangers in parking lots to take test drives or sit at the dealership for hours and hours while they wear you down. Driveway eliminated all of that.
With Driveway Auction, we come to you, so we complete the 40-point vehicle inspection from the comfort and convenience of your own driveway.
We send an independent third-party inspector to take measurements of the car, take pictures of it, evaluate the condition.
We use that information to advocate for you, using our network of buyers to compete. And when they compete, you win.
They take over the whole process, and you don't have to do anything.
Our clients get more money and a better process with Driveway.
Everybody at Driveway made me feel so comfortable during the whole process. It was a great experience.
Prospect Home Finance is a mortgage company. We specialize in residential refinances and home purchases. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, if you're going out looking for a pre-approval to buy a new home, meet with the realtor, we would help you facilitate that and walk you through the process from A to Z. We specialize in getting homeowners loans for their dream home, but we also do more than that. So today we came down to Ocean Beach, partnered up with Surfrider, and had some team members come down here from Prospect, all pitched together, and had quite a bit of trash to clean up.
It's really heartening to see people come out and really care for the waterways.
It was great getting out here, and we're gonna do it again soon. We're always looking for ways to give back to the community of San Diego. So if you have any ideas or need any help or support in any way, visit us at homefinance.com.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Hi, my name is Giovanni, and this is my mural. What intrigued me most about this project is that I realized there was not a lot of black street artists, and then there was not a lot of black art on walls. So that's what intrigues me the most, is that this is a project that's putting up multiple and plentiful of walls of black people on walls.
I'm Deborah, and this is my mural. When I was approached about this project as a portrait painter, I kind of like the idea of a challenge. I've done large-scale pieces that were called murals, but I had never done an outdoor mural, and I really love the subject matter. They didn't assign the subjects right off the bat. We had to kind of hear what they were going to do, and I was thrilled. I got to pick it, and this is the one that I was most happy with.
The Rich Eisen Show airs Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. An engaging blend of insightful football expertise with an offbeat mix of humor and pop culture while continuing to attract the most recognizable names in sports and entertainment. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on Your View, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. And visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.